The reason why I really strongly encourage people to not write on multiples at the same time is that what if they both get accepted? All of a sudden it becomes overwhelming, right? Of like, well, which one should I choose? And a lot of people don't understand that like this is a relationship business, right? You want to make sure that if you're making an offer and it gets accepted, right, that like you're ready to move forward. Cody Gatton, what's up, man?
What's up, Jay?
Chilling, bro. What's going on?
Not much, man. Just, living the dream.
That's awesome, man.
3 crazy kids and a crazy house, but works great, man.
That's really, really cool, man. I know your kids are crazy in the best way possible, though.
Yeah. Thank you, man. I appreciate it.
And your wife is the one that holds it all together. We all know that.
Of course.
Yeah.
Of course.
Yeah. That's awesome. So, I had a couple questions for you today. Like sitting down, we were just chatting about like opportunities in the market, things that people aren't seeing in real estate right now. And you said something that I thought was freaking gold because no one's talking about it. Everyone's saying how everything's still going way over ask price. And of course, there's always going to be certain homes in any market that are going to go over ask, right, and be competitive. But you said to me, you're like, yeah, man, I think that people are missing out like actually on like a lull in the market right now, whether that's negotiating credits or whether that's maybe at list price or slightly under, or you're the only offer on the property, or you need to sell a house, right? But you don't need to buy necessarily. So like, what do you see as opportunities in the market right now?
Yeah, there's a lot of opportunities, right? I think to your point, if somebody has a house to sell, right, call it a contingent offer, they have to sell their home in order to purchase a new home. There's opportunity there. Whereas when the markets are taking off and they're going crazy, your offer is not going to be considered in a multiple offer type situation. Now, right now, you may be the only offer on the table. And so if that's the case, that's the only offer that seller has to consider. And so, it's definitely, there's opportunity there. There's opportunity with first-time home buyers. There's opportunities with step-up buyers. There's opportunities all over the place. And really, it just comes down to the demand. There's a lot of pent-up demand. It's just, what people can afford. And if people can't afford to buy and they can't afford to submit offers, you may be the only offer on the table. And so, you're not overly competing. You don't have to go way over asking price. You may be able to get it at list price or slightly under, or even get some sort of seller concession in there as well, right?
Yeah.
And so
I think a lot of people don't remember that too, is that like strategy is really important. Like strategy matters actually more than price, more than cost, and cost and price are two totally different things.
Absolutely.
Like a price is what you pay for, a cost is like from a purchase price standpoint, but like when you're looking at cost on like a loan, whether it's monthly payments or cash out of pocket, you have like a lot of different levers that you can pull to make it work for you. So I'll give you a great example. Like, we just recently did a transaction where, on an inspection, some things came up in the inspection, which are normal. Something's always going to come up, right? But the buyer was able to go back to the seller and say, hey, I don't really want to take care of X, Y, and Z, on the property personally. So we'd love to request just for a $12,000 credit. And the seller was like, okay, right? And then so now that customer is bringing in $12,000 less, right, cash to close that they got to keep in their pocket.
Yeah, and that's a huge win. I think, again, maybe just because it was so recent, but you look at just during COVID times, right? People were waiving those inspection contingencies, right? And so they not only were waiving those, but they were waiving loan, they were waiving appraisal contingencies, and they were going in these things blind. You don't have to do that right now. You can do your due diligence. You can make sure you're getting the right home. And if something does pop up on an inspection report and and the seller's not willing to negotiate, you walk and you go to the next property and you find the right home that's going to work for you.
Yeah. So what do you feel about like I'm putting you on the hot seat here, but good, what do you feel about, because I have an opinion about this, but I want to know what yours is first. Like, and it's not right or wrong, but like buyers that are like walking around and wanting to make offers on more than one property at the same time. Yeah. Like how do you, because I'm not a real estate agent, right? I'm a mortgage person, and I'm just kind of like have my own opinion, which I'll give after yours. But like, what's your opinion like as a real estate agent?
Man, I think it's just educating the buyers in the very beginning, right? And personally, I don't do it. I'm not going to make multiple offers on properties. Again, we can set a short response time in the offer that we submit and ask that the sellers respond back to us within 24 hours. Yeah. So what's the point of submitting one offer and then putting another one in immediately when you could just wait those extra 24 hours to find out, this either worked or it didn't. And who knows, maybe you write the offer and it does get accepted and that's the home that you want, right? Like you just won't,
What's the downside though? So I'm curious, like, what do you think the downside is of people making, like, there's two properties and they're like, you know what, let's make an offer on both of them at the same time and see if one sticks. Like, what do you think the threats are or the downsides to doing that?
I just think, well, first off, I don't think that they're ultimately that serious about one property over the other, right? It's kind of like they're just kind of, okay, well, I'd be happy with either or. And then at that point they get one accepted and they're actually, well, I wanted the other one, right? And so there's an emotional piece to it. But aside from that, you know, as far as if I'm on the listing side and I get an offer that comes in and the next thing you know, they're pulling their offer out and it's because they got another offer accepted, it leaves a bad taste in your mouth, right? And so reputation's on the line. You got to make sure you're doing things, you know, ethically, and you want to make sure that you're doing right by your clients and by the other people in the industry.
Totally. And that shit matters. Like so I'll give you my opinion now because I want to see, and it's okay to have difference of opinions, right? Like that's how we all learn. But I actually do agree with you on this. And the reason why I really strongly encourage people to not write on multiples at the same time is that what if they both get accepted? Yeah. They're going to, you said the word emotionally, like all of a sudden it becomes overwhelming, right? Of like, well, which one should I choose? And then I agree with everything else you said too. Like, a lot of people don't understand that like this is a relationship business, right? Not just with your client, but with the other realtors on the other side. You have to work with all of them all the time, and with lenders and with all of that. Like it's a reputation thing for sure too. And you always, well, but as a buyer specifically, like you want to make sure that if you're making an offer and it gets accepted, right, that like you're ready to move forward.
And it's the house that you want.
Yeah, it's the house.
It's not just the one that got accepted.
It's not just like, oh, I'll buy any house.
Exactly.
You know, because you're buying your home.
Yeah.
You know, so that's cool, man. I was just curious about that because I run into it from time to time. Yeah. You know, it happens every once in a long while, and I'm always kind of cringy about it. And like,
well, and it's again, it just goes back to having those conversations with these buyers and prioritizing it. It's like, okay, well, if you could have whichever one of these homes, which one would it be? Yeah. And that's the one that you ride on.
What do you see with people that are purchasing homes? Because you help tons of buyers, but you also help tons of sellers. You list lots of property and you help buyers. You do both. Like, what do you see as like a common trend right now within the buyers or sellers that are actually listing property or buying property?
Yeah, I mean, what you're kind of seeing a lot. Well, let's go with sellers first, right? I think what you're seeing a lot just in the market is you're not having a lot of people sell out of their low interest rates and buying into something that's much higher right now, right? When the refi boom happened, everybody got into a 2.5%, 3% interest rate, and are they willing to trade out of that into our current rates? You know, some people are, some people just aren't ready to do that yet. So as that comes down, it will be much more competitive and you'll see much more inventory hitting the market. But generally what we're seeing is divorce is happening or splits, right? You're seeing, deaths, so probate, trust sales, and you're seeing people moving out of the state because their money can go further in different areas. Right. But aside from that, you're not seeing a ton of move up buyers, which again goes back to that is an opportunity for a lot of buyers in today's market is a contingent sale and a contingent purchase. And
I love that you brought that up, by the way. So a move up buyer, like it, just in case, because we never know who's going to watch this stuff. Like, sure. So a move up buyer, right, is like you have a house that you live in right now that you own. You might have a mortgage on it, you might not, but you own a house right now you live in. You want to buy a different house. Maybe your family has grown. Maybe, you want to downsize. Like maybe you just want to relocate to a different area, whatever it may be. But you have a house right now. And I think that I know, like a message that has been just shoved down people's throats for years now, right, is that you have to buy before you sell, right? And which is a great strategy, by the way, but it's not the only strategy. And, contingent sale and all that means, right, is that, hey, you're going to list your house for sale and you're going to make offers on another house contingent, meaning subject to you actually selling your house. And I do see that as an opportunity right now that people aren't talking about. You agree?
100%. Yeah, 100% agree. I think, when you really look at the amount of activity that's out there, any home, in my opinion, that's past a review date. So sometimes agents will set a review date, right? And they'll say, well, we're going to look at offers on this date and time. And if they don't get offers at that point, or if there's only one on the table and it happens to be a contingent offer, it's likely going to be accepted. If nothing else, it's definitely going to be considered, right? And so opportunity to be had there because, again, as these interest rates do come down, which they will, it's only going to increase the amount of demand. And And these types of opportunities aren't going to be there. You're going to probably have to sell your home before you make that offer, or look into some loan programs that can help you.
Absolutely. You know, what's a trip about that? When we talk about interest rates like coming down, will it happen? Of course it will. I mean, things always move up and down, and it absolutely is going to happen. Inflation does keep coming down month over month, year over year, and it will happen. Now, here's what's interesting, though. We talk about affordability a lot, and I don't think people really understand this, is that prices are predicted right now to continue to move up, even if it's nominally, for 5 straight years. I just read this article this morning, right? Is that they're predicting that appreciation should happen based on supply, demand, et cetera, regardless of what rates do, for the next 5 years. Now, what people don't understand is if that happens, if interest rates move down 1% over the next year, okay, what that does is it allows them to afford about 10% more purchase price than they can afford right now. The downside, though, is that if rates come down 1% and those homes go up 10%, they're still buying the same house.
Yeah.
They're literally going to be buying the same house as they are right now, and people aren't talking about this.
Well, I think it goes back to time in the market will beat timing the market, right? And right now, you're not going to time the market. Who knows what the market's going to do? But if you go based off the projections of appreciation happening over the next 5 years, anybody that buys today is going to see a lot of equity gains during that period of time.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. Awesome, man. Dude, I super appreciate you taking time to chat today, bro.
Thanks, man. Thank you.
Yeah, it was good hanging out. Appreciate you.
You too.